Alright guys, today I am doing a Creepypasta reading, which will be the Creepypasta, Blue's Clues, No Clues. I remember the day like yesterday. It was a crisp autumn morning, with a lot of leaves in the air. It was November, and I was just 9. I was happy. It was Saturday. My mom had to run some errands, and my dad was at work, surprisingly on a Saturday. I had to take care of my little twin sisters. So did my oldest sister. I was the only boy child, and I grew out of Blue's Clues when I was 4, because for some reason I thought it was too girly. It was only 2001, so I wasn't really surprised at my 15-year-old sister's suggesting a Blue's Clues VHS. But there was something funny about it. Steve was saying the title of it in a depressed emotion. The top of the speech bubble was ripped off, showing a red VHS. The back on the other sides were all white. "Mommy, get this for us to watch," my older sister said. "Are you sure about this, Julie?" I said. "Don't worry. I got all of our backs if there's something wrong, Johnny," my older sister Julie replied. Julie popped the VHS into the player, where the coming soon to video cassette was supposed to be, was just a timer for when the feature presentation was coming on. It kept showing static most of the time. Instead of the Paramount feature presentation that I expected, like on all my Rugrats VHS tapes, instead it was just the 1995 Paramount Mountain, sitting there, motionless. Julie and I talked with each other, thinking that the VHS was just special. After about 20 seconds waiting, a weird Nick Jr. logo came on. The Nick was just walking around, walking in a straight motion, with the Jr. following along. This was silent, and it went on for 10 seconds. My little twin sister were getting tired. We stopped the VHS and put the twins, the names are Danielle and Hannah, in their cribs. Julie and I wanted to see why this VHS was so weird. As we got back to the family room, the VCR said play in the top left corner. We didn't even touch play. Anyway, we kept watching. The Nick Jr. logo was still going in for 7 seconds. Then that face that was on Nick Jr. faded on the screen. After the Nick Jr. logo faded to black. He was a little different. His eyes were very dark crimson, and his white pupils were light lavender. He had a frown. After 5 seconds of silence, he finally said slowly, "Hi there." Suddenly, face filled with pure static noise, distorting his sobbing. "Why, Steve, R, need, blue, wah, blues, next, Nick Jr." I was confused. I told Julie to eject the tape. She went to the VCR, pressing the stop eject button repeatedly. She gave up and said, "It's no use." I told her to just keep watching, so we watched it together. The Blue's Clues intro started, but instead of the joyful guitar music, there was depressing piano music. Steve said, "Hi out there, it's me. It's me. Steve, have you seen Blue? My puppy." In a voice that sounded nothing like Steve's. A shock of static jolted across the screen. Blue was cheesy CGI instead of paper animation. It was when Blue's Clues house door opened. We see a man that looks nothing like Steve. He looks like Tom Hanks. He was wearing the same clothes as Steve's. Then the TV bursted with static, and when the episode came back on, Steve was back to normal. Steve said, "Hello, little boys and girls. We won't play Blue's Clues today. Sorry." The background kids said in a confused voice, "Why not?" The sheen shot a tiny burst of static, revealing a grotesque blue corpse of a dog. It was Blue. Blue was on her back, belly torn, with her intestines tied all around her. Blue's eyes were popped out of her sockets, revealing yellow CGI eyes. I almost threw up, but I held my puke. Julia was not even sickened by this. That's because she has a thick stomach. It cut back to Steve. Steve was smiling, very big, at the rate where CGI wasn't realistic with effects in 2001. The kids in the background were crying. This crying was getting louder until Steve said, "Your kids will learn about death." The TV turned to static for a boring 2 minutes. Julia and I talked about if this was actually made by Paramount. Julia called 911, and she told me that the line was cut. We had to watch the whole thing then. After the static ended, Steve said that he will be playing a special game. The background kids cheered. He went to the side table drawer. Side table said, "Blue's Clues, I'm so X." A loud gunshot rang. The screen changed to black, and Steve laughed in a soft voice. After the screen faded to black, we see Mr. Salt with red bloody eyes and Mrs. Pepper with white eyes and sharp teeth. So realistic, it feels like you can touch them. Steve asked if they wanted any juice. The couple said, "Sure thing." Static once again shot up across the screen. I could make out a 666 in the static. Julia asked if I saw 666. Obviously, I said yes. So we snuggled up with each other, waiting for the worst to come. The episode came back on Steve saying, "Here you go, 2 servings of yummy juice." Mr. Salt and Mrs. Pepper were in cheesy CGI this time. They drank Steve's juice and liked it. "Yummy. What's in this?" Mr. Salt asked. "Cyanide and poison, of course," Steve replied. "What?" Mrs. Pepper screeched. Suddenly, the two were coughing up salt and pepper out of their bodies instantly instead of blood. Julia and I watched in horror as the 2 alive, inanimate objects suffered to meet their fate. Steve was satisfied of his accomplishment. He kept going. Shovel and Pail were in the backyard, and they looked sad. And they were staring at a live-action clock that resembled Tickety-Tock. Shovel said in a 5-year-old's voice, "Poor Tickety-Tock." Pail said in a 5-year-old girl's voice, "I miss Periwinkle." Periwinkle? He was on the show for only 1 year back then. Steve came on in an old man's voice. "And you're next." "No," Shovel and Pail said. Steve closed his eyes for 3 seconds and opened them, revealing bloodshot eyes. Shovel and Pail screamed and ran away from Steve. Steve sang, "Ring around the rosy," in a creepy little girl's voice. He found Pail and grabbed her by the handle. Pail was blood-curdling, screaming as his blood shot all over the place. Shovel started crying to his sister's death and sprinted away. Shovel started running to the front of the yard, where he found Mailbox. Shovel told the Mailbox to run, but Mailbox said he couldn't. He was stuck to the ground. The voice of Mailbox sounded like Steve for some reason. Shovel whispered to him, "I'm coming with you, Pail." Steve came and said, "Hello, little yellow Shovel. Want to play?" Shovel answered, "Okay." Steve shoved Shovel into the Mailbox's mouth. With Mailbox's mouth closed around Shovel's neck, with Steve holding Mailbox's mouth closed when the 2 died. Steve sprinted in the house, with static jolting around again for 1 minute. After the static was all gone, we saw Steve in Slippery Slope. Slippery was blindfolded. "Are you ready for the present, Slippery?" Steve asks, all fake happy. Slippery said in Periwinkle's voice, "I'm always ready." Steve counted 1, 2, 3. A knife sliced Slippery Slope in half. Steve was happy. Satan is my king. "I must kill myself to make him happy," Steve said. Suddenly the screen turned black and a rope came around out of blue. Nick Jr. logo came on. It was shaped as a knife. On top was 666. And on the bottom was "Tu turno." Julia told me it was Spanish for "your turn." There were no credits. The screen bursted with static, and the power went out. I will never forget that day. I remembered. It was November 17th, 2001. That was the day our family changed. I got paranoia, and I had to see a therapist. Nobody except my family believes what I saw. Julia now has a condition where she doesn't sleep a lot. Her husband is always trying to calm her down to make her sleep. Danielle and Hannah are now very crude and like Gore. They are now mean to certain people. My mom is always depressed and hates her jobs. She wants to be home and cry all day. Last, my dad got into a car crash on his way to work. He's now in a wheelchair. He can't walk. I wish this never happened. The VHS got smashed into bits by Julia. The Blues Clues VHS is why my family is like this. At least it's gone now. I call that VHS Blues Clues, no clues. It is my nightmare. At least I'm alive. For now. Alright, that was my Creepypasta reading, and see you all on the next one.